Time for our fresh off the field interview brought to you by Austin Air, the official clean air provider of the Buffalo Bills. And the guy's still sweating. So nice to come here right off the field. It's Greg Rousseau. We got to get like a towel sponsor because we got to have towels here for these guys so they can dry off a little bit while they're sitting next to us. But Greg Rousseau here still has his pads on and everything.
Ready.
And I want to start here because, you know, there are new guys added to the injury report this week, but I got to believe when that D-line group gets up in individual position drills, it's got to be nice to see Ed and Jordan Phillips back practicing, even if it's on a limited basis, right?
That's facts. It was great to see them out there. They're looking good. Obviously, we've been missing them the last couple of weeks, so I feel like it's going to really help our D-line get a little extra boost moving on in the future.
You got a really good start going on. You got 4 sacks and stuff. And a lot's been said about the relationship you've fostered with Vaughn. And he is a great player. I mean, there's no question about it. He comes in with a lot of credentials. Give people an insight as to your mindset when a guy like Vaughn steps onto the field for the first time and all that.
Yeah.
And he starts talking. I mean, he's the kind of guy he is.
Yeah.
Give us an idea of how that affects all the guys in the room.
I mean, it's been great for all of us, and it's definitely been great for me. Vaughn's definitely like a big brother figure to me, and he's giving me so much advice on the field, off the field, just every little thing. I'm like, Vaughn, how do you do this? How do you do that? Like, just trying to pick his brain on every little thing I can. And I feel like he's helped me out a lot. And also just him, when a player like that comes from another team and what he's done, obviously a future Hall of Famer, and then when they show that belief in you and he tells me that, like, he believes me, like, yeah, you can win, Greg, take the game over, like, it does something for me for sure.
I'll say this too, and it's the things that a lot of people don't realize, like when you get a guy like Vaughn in there, you ask him stuff the people don't understand, like when in your career should you buy a house instead of rent an apartment?
Stuff like
when
that.
When should you live in the town that you play in? When should you go home? How often should you come back that kind of stuff is really stuff you crave as a young player, right?
Exactly, and it really goes a long way because coming in as a rookie, you don't know how it goes in the NFL. You know, you might be a good player, you might be talented or whatever, but just the ins and outs, like you said, like where do you live, what do you do, how do you take care of your body? In the
when do you look for a place?
Yeah.
How do you
Stuff,
write
yeah,
all that stuff?
Yeah, so I mean, all that stuff goes a long way in just making sure all your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted.
I know last year, Greg, you got off to a flying start. People still remember your Chiefs game tip interception. And then after that, it was kind of hard for you to consistently flash week in and week out. And Coach Frazier talked about it late in the season. He said, look, sometimes rookies have some peaks and valleys to their seasons. You had the added challenge of not playing in 2020. So it was like almost 2 years between the time you lined up and played football, let alone had gone through a whole season.
Yep.
Did that add to the degree of difficulty? Like, was everybody, you hear all the time when they come back, oh, I got to knock the rust off. Did it take longer to knock the rust off because of the lengthy layoff, or was that really not part of the equation?
I'd say I definitely started knocking it off during like preseason training camp.
Okay.
And I mean, obviously did have the fast start to last season, but obviously I didn't keep it going as much, and that's my goal this year, you know, just living day by day, every single practice out there, whether it's Wednesday, first and second down, Thursday, third down, or if it's Fast Friday, and really just living week to week and day to day, and just trying to just be the best version of me every single day. And
right, and so it looks like you're an example of that now, because that is what, you know, we talk to Coach Frazier every week, and coming into the season, he said, yeah, that's what we need from Greg and Boogie and AJ, the week-to-week consistency, not just the flash of the ability. Let's see it every week.
Yep.
I mean, 4 sacks, 6 quarterback hits, those both lead the team right now through the first 4 games. Is this kind of the stacking of weeks that you kind of are looking for from yourself?
Yeah, 100%. I still feel like I left a lot of plays out there, you know, and like I had a sack I could have got this week that I missed. I got to keep on bringing my feet. I had some rushes I wish I could have had back from the Ravens game. So, you know, and it's all about just looking back at the games. We have like a 24-hour rule, but looking back and saying like, all right, I could do this better. I could do this better. So, I mean, just moving on towards the Steelers week, I'm just challenging myself again, you know, be the best player I can be. Sometimes I can get you 2 sacks. Sometimes I can get you no sacks. It might not be that type of game, you know. So just really just challenging myself to have the best game I could possibly have.
What's the word coming out of Pittsburgh about what you guys think about? You know, they're changing quarterbacks. You got a young quarterback coming in. What are some of the general rules you guys think about when you're playing a team where you haven't seen the guy play very much?
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like when it comes to that, not really knowing too much about watching their quarterback, Kenny Pickett, it really comes back to just us being us, us playing our ball like we did in that second half versus the Ravens. So just us executing, doing all our things right, and definitely doing our 111th.
I was going through the game last week against the Ravens, and knowing you guys review film, you might remember this, but right after Andrews got called for offensive pass interference, now it's 3rd and I think it was 16, and the Ravens go empty backfield, and they're just going to have their 5 against your 4, and for some reason, they had both tackles in one-on-ones with you and Vaughn. I don't understand that. To me, that's suicide. And Vaughn got the sack on that play, and then they have to kick a field goal because they couldn't get the first down. Do you relish the one-on-one opportunities?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I got to imagine the more you keep putting up these numbers, the less you're going to see that.
Yeah, less I'm going to get them. No, but definitely, that's what we live for. We always say in our room 4 equals 1. And our best pressure, the best pressure for really good teams is just the 4-man rush and being able to drop back 7 dudes in the coverage. So I feel like that's great when we have that going, and that's our goal week in and week out, is to be able to affect the QB and affect the game with 4 rushers.
We've seen that happen a lot around the league, where now it's more so than at any other point, where especially a guy like you with how much length you got, and AJ's got that kind of length as well, and about knocking passes down at the line of scrimmage. And do you guys have is it a mental clock where you rush and then, the club will have an alarm where you, at this point, if I'm not there, I got to get up, get my hands up? Or is it all eyesight where you just keep your eye on it?
I'd say it's a little bit of both, and it's a little bit of like, you got to understand the animal you're hunting. Some quarterbacks, like we played against Tua the other week, and he was just getting the ball out real quick, just boom, like 2 points up in a second. So some quarterbacks like that, I feel like you got to be more like cognizant of getting your hands up. And then some people, some quarterbacks like to hold the ball, run around, kind of like how Josh does, extend plays. So with them, I feel like you wouldn't want to rush in and kind of stop and try to play volleyball with the ball, because that quarterback could look down the field and then do like put on a whole show back there,
Right.
I mean, it's definitely week to week for sure, but y'all have seen it. Getting your hands up could make game-breaking plays. Just getting your hands up, just like last week with Poyer with that first interception.
Yeah.
Right.
Some of the looks that we've seen so far this season that I know get a lot of people excited is seeing you kicking inside. And then Vaughn's next to you.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. Like you and him on the same side. I mean, pick your poison there. You can't double everybody, as you know. And I know you have experience because Miami even lined you up inside a good amount of time.
Yeah, you were in the
back in 19. So do you kind of like that setup? Because it seems to be working for you guys.
No, I love that setup. And I feel like it's really good to kind of move people around, because then it makes it harder for the other team to say, all right, Greg's going to be there, Vaughn's going to be there, Boogie, AJ, he's going to be right there. It's not stagnant. I go to the left, Vaughn goes to the left, then I'm on the right, then I'm in the inside at the right 3 tech. So being able to change stuff up, it's kind of like, I feel like it creates mismatches and also makes us less predictable.
Yeah. How do you guys handle individually and as a group the rotation? I mean, we hear about it all the time. You guys are in and out of there. Nobody gets a ton of reps, at least not all at once.
Yeah.
How do you guys handle that? Both, like you as an individual, I know everybody wants to play all the time. So how do you do that?
I feel like it's kind of like the pace of the game. Sometimes AJ or whoever, Shaq Lawson, somebody might be hot, Vaughn, so they might get left in for a little more, give them a chance to make some plays. Sometimes the team is running a lot of plays, fast pace is hot, like in the other week, we might got to kind of move people around more. And I feel like like I said, it's just really just the pace of the game and how things are going, and who's hot and who's winded and who's not.
Right.
You kind of happy to finally be back home? I mean, 3 of the first 4 weeks, you guys are road travelers.
Yeah.
Now you finally get a home game again, where you're going to have the opportunity to get a crowd behind you when you're out there on defense. Maybe just speak to how much that helps you with get off.
Yeah, I mean, we feed off of it. Obviously, offenses got to go to their silent count, something that they might not be as comfortable with. The offensive tackles might not be getting off the ball as quick as they would if they were at home. So definitely an advantage for us, and our fans bring it week in and week out, as you guys know. So it's always exciting playing in front of Bills Mafia.
How do you, just getting back to that rotation, who calls that? Do you have a set schedule, or is it a little feel, or do the coaches come to you and say, hey, we're going to try this? How's that work?
Coach E calls it on sideline before series, but usually if you start it, then you're probably not going to finish it if they get like a first down or 2, and then it might go back to the people who were first in if they get like two or 3 first downs or something like that.
Right,
so it kind of just flows.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Greg, listen, thanks for popping in and spending some time with us. You go hit the showers, but
sure,
and good luck on Sunday, all right?
Thank you.
Get that dub.
Got to.
Thanks,
Thanks for
man.
having me.